Howdy, folks. I'm Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. So we will be doing a short tea time today, like always. So put your guesses below, get your bets ready, and let's get started. First story is titled, "Am I the jerk for going off on my husband for saying this to the kids?" My husband and I have two kids, a 13-year-old female and an 11-year-old male. Right now, we are going through some financial struggles and we ended up losing many of our belongings to be able to pay off the mortgage. The kids have been more than understanding of our situation and they help whenever they can. My son even offered that we sell his computer to get some money, which was sweet, but we insisted that he did not have to. My daughter draws perfectly, and she's been selling a few of her works to friends online to buy stuff for our house. All in all, let me just say that I'm proud and grateful of my kids and their efforts to help out. So, a few days ago, we went to my family and my brother was talking to my husband about our debt struggles. My husband loves our house dearly and swore that he would not lose it no matter what happens. My brother then asked him what he would do if he couldn't afford next month's bills and payments, and my husband just looked at the kids and said, "Well, then I guess I'll have to adopt you two out." The kids got quiet for some reason, and I looked at them with a stunned look on my face as they got up from their seats and made their way upstairs. The rest of the family just stared awkwardly for a few seconds and I went off on my husband about what he told the kids and how cruel his words were. He defended himself that he was just messing with them, but that stuff is damaging both emotionally and mentally to the kids to say something like that after they showed nothing but support. That was pretty messed up. He lashed back saying that I overreacted and I needed to loosen up and drop it, but I refused to do so. I followed the kids upstairs and stayed there. They were actually crying when I found them in the room. I felt awful and didn't speak to my husband after that. I did demand that he apologize and make it up to the kids, and he said no and insisted he was just messing around with them. Am I the jerk? He said I offended him in front of the family. Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
So, I think that OP's husband probably made a joke in poor taste. See, I can definitely see this falling inside of some people's humor, and I can understand that this might have been like a joke on his part that he thought was harmless enough. But I think that if it made the kids cry, then it wasn't a harmless joke at that point in time. And so I think OP just needs to be kind of careful about what they say to their kids. I mean, it's really hard to say how kids will react, and they're both young kids, and maybe they didn't realize they may have just been shocked and or worried about being taken away from their family or something like that. Maybe they heard something like that at school, that, oh, you're going to get taken away, and they were really struggling and helping to make sure that that didn't happen. And now their dad comes along and is like, "Oh, haha, I'll just adopt them out." And it's like, so you care more about the house itself than the kids, is the way it comes across. So I do think that OP's husband probably made a very poor taste joke, but I would be curious about what you folks have to say. So, anyhow, take care and good luck.
My dad used to say he had sold us to his coworker Eddie, and he was coming to pick us up in his white Chevy.
Yeah, I mean, it's parents say things like this a lot, and I mean, I think that it certainly has a place, but maybe not when there's an actual like threat of having your entire world fall apart. So I think it's just a stressful time. Not the jerk, he may have meant it as a joke, but it wasn't received that way. He's in the wrong, and you should absolutely stand up for your kids. Agreed, not the jerk. Info, what does his family think of what he did? You said everyone stared awkwardly. Did they also think that he was out of line and back you up? Not the jerk, even if you're messing around and you hurt someone's feelings, you should say sorry. I think we learned that lesson when we were at like 5. I don't get it. What kind of jerk is the husband that he can clearly see his kids are hurt and were crying and still chooses not to apologize? If their kids are hurt and crying over something their parent said or did, even if unintentional, shouldn't the parent apologize and soothe them? What is this behavior? Not the jerk. Yeah, and I mean, I agree on that. I really think that he was joking, and it's clear he was joking, but I really think that he handled this in a very poor way to reconcile the situation. Like, the thing he should have done is just sat down with his kids and said, "Oh no, no, kids, I'm sorry. I was just joking. You've done a lot to help out, and I would never sell you or adopt you out or whatever have you, you know." And I think that would have gone a long way towards comforting the kids. But maybe right now they have questions about whether their dad loves them or not. Our next letter is titled, and I'm going to read this one at risk of getting a YouTube strike, I guess, against me. I'm going to be trying to be careful with how I read this one, and I'm probably not going to post a link like I normally do because YouTube can be sensitive when it comes to topics that involve subjects like this. So our next letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for offering to be my coworker's adult reproductive cell donor?" That's right, we are saying it like that. I'm a 29-year-old male and I have a lesbian coworker, a 27-year-old female who got engaged over New Year's. She and I have always gotten along well and been friendly. One time when we were getting lunch last year, the lady at the cash register said that we made a cute couple, and we laughed about it a couple of times since then. I was thinking about that when I talked to her after she made her engagement announcement. I said, "Congratulations on getting engaged. I know you and your fiance might want kids, and since we make such a cute couple, hit me up if you ever need adult reproductive cell donor." I was trying to be jokey and fun, but she immediately stopped smiling and two of her other coworkers looked shocked. I tried to explain that I was just trying to make a joke, and this was a kind of in-joke between me and her. I said sorry, it was a stupid joke, but since then she seemed uncomfortable around me. Am I the jerk for a joke that fell flat? Alright, folks, let me know what you think of this one. I am inclined to say that OP is the jerk.
Same.
And Amber says the same. I think that this is going to probably end up with OP having someone from HR coming along and saying, "Hey, you can't make jokes like that. If you do, you're going to get fired." This wasn't really, it was kind of a joke in very, very, very poor taste. I think that OP really needs to develop a filter because I just don't understand where they thought that joking about something like this would come across in a positive light. I mean, is he even aware if they want to have children or not? Like, this is a pretty big assumption. And I like how the one time they had like a uh someone comment and like, "Oh, hey, you two make a cute couple," which is something, you know, people will say just because, like, you know. But since then he's been like thinking about this enough where he thought to himself, "Huh, we make a cute couple. You know what would be kind of interesting to say? If I could be the father of her children." That's how this comes across, as OP's like, I want to be the father of your children. Generally, that isn't something people like are like joking about, you know. That's generally like one of those kind of like, "Oh, this is a little bit of a red flag situation." So I do think that OP was, even if this was a joke on their part, I think that they did so in very poor taste. An unsolicited offer of adult reproductive cells to a coworker could be considered sexual harassment. You're the jerk. An unsolicited offer of adult reproductive cells. Ha 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 ha. Ding ding ding. This is the correct answer. If your coworker is smart, you should expect a call from HR soon. All right, before we jump into our next story, let's take a sip of my tea. If you guessed licorice spice, then you were correct.
I was, but I cheated.
Amber was, but she kind of cheated, but I still gave her points because I'm a benevolent Brian Buck stealer. So, yeah, let me know if you were right. Moving along, Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Let 11-year-old Pet My Cat? I'm a 21-year-old female and I have a new 5-month-old cat. She's super sweet and was raised in a college, so she's also very social. Because of this, I usually let people pet her and play with her when we're out on walks. Recently, a mom and a son, who's around 10 to 11, has been taking walks around campus the same time that I do. It's an open campus, and it's usually fun to see families here during breaks. Anyways, the mom asked if her son could pet my cat, and I said yes. It's all good, but she takes the kitten out of my hands without asking to give it to her son, which was a bit annoying. The kid's gentle with my kitten, so I'm okay with it. But the mom's saying kind of weird things like, this cat loves you, and the poor cat having to live in a dorm. Stuff like that to her son. Like, ma'am, this cat has a 3-tier pink castle, unlimited pets, and homemade cat toys. You don't have to worry about her. About a week later, I see the two again on a walk, and they ask to pet the cat. I say yes, but I make it clear that I'm holding her this time. The woman then tells me that her son has never bonded this much with a kitten. He's met her like twice, and offers to buy my kitten because it deserves more space and to be an outdoor cat, apparently. I was kind of offended because I love my cat and I think that I give her a great life. I'm always on time with vet appointments and I'm a very responsible pet owner. This is where I think I might be the jerk. The next time I saw them walking, when the mom asked if her son could pet the cat, I said no and walked off. The kid looked pretty upset and he didn't do anything wrong. I felt bad, but I was really uncomfortable. Am I the jerk? Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. Lady wants your cat.
Yeah, I mean, this gives me catnapper vibes. I think this woman is trying to slowly try to convince you to give your cat away to them. And the cat isn't an outdoor cat. I mean, there's a difference between taking a cat out on walks and making a cat an outdoor cat. Like, an outdoor cat is a cat that can basically fend for themselves and knows how to survive the elements. An indoor cat that goes for walks just enjoys the nice weather when it's nice, It's not like they're out there surviving off of mice or anything like that. So this situation really seems suspect to me. I think that the mom is really trying to guilt you into giving your cat away, and I can't blame you for turning around and running because the kid doesn't need to get any more attached to that cat at this point in time. If he was attached after 2 instances, then I mean they need to go and get him a different cat. I mean, there's no need for this. Like, there are plenty of kittens in this world. He doesn't need your kitten, plain and simple. So again, not the jerk, and as per the course of Reddit, I will also show the cat tax. As you can see, it's a very lovely cat. Not the jerk. I'd worry that mother is going to try and steal the cat. Anyways, one is never required to stop and let someone pet your animal. People need to stop acting so entitled. Also, being an outdoor cat is worse than indoor. Yeah. It depends on the cat, of course. Like, some cats really enjoy being outdoor cats. So, this depends on the cat's disposition. Tagging onto this to say, if you haven't already, get your cat chipped. That way, if your cat ever gets lost, or maybe even stolen, you'll be able to find her. Yeah. Alright, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for letting my child cuss at an old woman? My husband is staying with his mother. Both are in isolation. Thank goodness my kids and I are negative. I had to do an emergency grocery run because the delivery in my area was backed up. I took the kiddos with me, 5, 8, and 12. 8 is on the spectrum and has troubles with places like grocery stores. I gave him an iPad with cellular and over-the-ear headphones. He should be good to go. He doesn't like loud noises or strangers touching him. While in line, 12 is a lot of help with his brothers, so he's trying to help me with 5 throwing junk food in the cart. I decided to go to the cashier's checkout, and the line was long. 8 is good, just chilling, watching his cartoons with his headphones, until this old lady behind us is upset over something. I'm ignoring her, but 12 grabs me and says that I think we have an issue. The lady starts going on about kids these days and technology. She's trying to get the attention of the 8-year-old. I don't want to startle him, so 12 moves between them. But 5 is looking at more cookies. The old woman told me that my kids were rude, ignoring her. She taps on my 8-year-old, and I pull him aside. He looks up from his iPad and takes his headphones off to see if something is wrong. I'm trying to get his headphones back on, and the old woman says that these types of things are only for home, and I need to teach my kids how to interact in public. She tells 8 he's old enough to know better than to act like this, scolding him loudly in public and in the middle of the store. 8 starts to cry, the first sign of a meltdown with him. 12 turns to the old woman and says, "You stupid bee, he's autistic." While I usually would tell 12 off because I have more issues to deal with, the old lady wants to talk to security and starts making a scene about my kids screaming and that they called her a bee. I finally leave a full cart of food there, and security tries to stop me, saying that I had to get 8 to the car. He has autism and he's going to have a major meltdown. 12 talks to security and tells him about the lady in line. So, alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
So I don't think that OP really let her 12-year-old cuss out this woman. I think what ended up happening is a lot was going on in the situation, and it was a lot to deal with at the very moment. You had, one 5-year-old doing his own thing, and then the 8-year-old was doing their own thing, and this old woman, she comes up and she starts jabbing at your son who doesn't like to be touched, and basically causing problems when they didn't need to be caused. I mean, this woman basically caused all of your problems. Your son was trying to stick up for your child, and I think that maybe he didn't have necessarily the best tools on how to deal with the situation, but he was trying to get her to back down because she was acting inappropriate. Also, who touches another person's child? Literally, that's the rule of kids. It's you don't touch other people's kids without explicit permission. That's just a known fact. That's just rude beyond rude. And I think if anyone's going to complain about someone being rude and needing to know how to interact in public, it's her. She needs to know how to interact in public because clearly she doesn't know. So yeah, anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk. The end of the story better be, and I took the 12-year-old for ice cream. Edit, and explain to him not to call old ladies names, no matter how much they deserve it. And OP replies, I got them chicken nuggets and fries. You should try not to call people swears, but I'm proud of you for sticking up for your brother when a nosy stranger triggered a meltdown. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's certainly time to pull the 12-year-old aside. Right then and there was not the time. There was just, too much going on. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. And if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all on Monday.